Hello, I'm Kylene Bailey, and this is my 20% project. I decided to do my 20% project on computer coding after a classmate of mine posted something on our Google Plus community from a different class. What my classmate had posted was an introductory video to code.org. I had never heard of code.org before, and so I was really curious. I watched the video that she presented and was very fascinated with how computer coding would actually work. The way that code.org is set up is that you can actually take classes and you can learn computer coding through their programs. I thought this would be a really great opportunity to learn how computers function because I wasn't really understanding of how computers even ran or how things work together. I always thought that computer coding was, really laborious and you couldn't really figure it out. So I wasn't, didn't quite understand what I was getting myself into. But the more that I explored this website, the more fascinated I became with computer coding and realized that it's really just problem solving and it's like building a puzzle. So the following is just what I did on the project and just wanted to show how it all worked out. So this is the website code.org. This is the website that I was first introduced by my classmates' video. This is the website where you can go through and do different kinds of puzzles for learning different kinds of computer coding. So after doing a first hour of code here and learning the basics of computer coding, I went ahead and signed up for my account. And you can see it'll walk you through all of your different progress, and you can see where I've been at. These are some of the pictures that I have made, and this is my progress going through the different stages. I still have a little bit more to go, but I've been enjoying the process of learning through this program. These are some of the drawings that I have created, and the one that I wanted to show is this one right here, where I know this looks very simplistic, but this took over 15 tries to get all the angles correct. So I had this idea in my head in this stage at the very end you could draw your own picture after you learned how to be an artist, and I had to learn the different angles and the different amount of pixels to be able to move or program the computer to be able to show this simple image. So I know it's very basic and basically primitive, but it took a long time to just figure out the different angles and how to move my little artist guide to make this drawing. Code.org is a nonprofit organization that works to teach students and teachers, basically anybody who wants to learn computer coding, how to do it. They use block coding formats, so instead of using straight code, they use blocks. And so you learn the different programs by using different blocks. And as you progress in the different stages, you learn how different blocks work. And each stage, they have introductory videos that have different people that introduce different concepts. So you have people like Mark Zuckerberg, who's teaching about repetitions. You have Bill Gates, who's teaching about if statements. So the program actually in each stage teaches you the different block codes in order to move your pieces throughout the puzzles that you're working with. By learning about computer coding through code.org, I've learned a lot about how computers function. As a mathematics teacher, we go through the concept of functions. We're looking at like inputs and outputs, and so basically computer coding is just like that. You're putting in some kind of code to the computer, and the computer helps output what you've put into the computer. It's really pretty basic, simplistic idea, but trying to get all the different codes in there is pretty complicated. But some of the things that code.org has shown me is by using the programs, you can do different functions, you can do repeats, you can loop things. It's just been pretty interesting to know all the different things you can do just to figure out how to code the computer. There are several ways that I think that computer coding can be used in the classroom. One, since technology is a major factor in all of our classrooms now, computer coding, learning the basics of it, would be beneficial for our students. They could learn how to create apps, they could learn how to program computer, create new games. I think it would be really good for them to understand the mechanics behind computers and what their tablets and their smartphones are doing. I also think that computer coding can be used as its own 20% project. It could be an option for students to be able to use code.org as a way to explore computer coding. And I also think that computer coding would be a good downtime project. I've used code.org in my classroom just as a downtime project, just to see if my students would be curious about it, and I've seen a lot of enthusiasm about it. I first showed my students code.org during some downtime. I had been really excited about my progress through the program that I wanted to show my students. So I had them start with a free hour of code. Most of them were pretty good. During their free hour, they started to work on puzzles. Some of the first puzzles that you find on code.org are moving an angry bird over to destroy the pig. So you have to learn the basics of the code to be able to move your angry bird forward. So a lot of my students were really engaged because the pieces that you had to work with were familiar to them. Because the puzzles that code.org uses and the characters they use in their puzzles are familiar to most people, it makes it user-friendly. So my students were really engaged when they could relate to a game that they've played before and see the pieces move using their new codes. I was also engaged because it was entertaining to use an angry bird, or in some of the other levels you use a farmer or a zombie, and it just makes it user-friendly, so you're not intimidated to learn computer coding, you're more engaged to learn the problem solving that goes behind computer coding. I definitely want to continue to learn computer coding. I really like the platform that code.org uses, and I still have more of my courses to finish up, so I'm excited to do that. I really enjoyed watching my students engage in the program and look forward to implementing this more into the classroom. I also am just encouraged that computer coding is not intimidating, and it's pretty user-friendly once you get the hang of it. I like that it's connected to mathematics, because mathematics uses a lot of problem-solving skills, and computer coding has a lot of problem-solving skills as well. I saw that it taught my students perseverance, and it encouraged me to encourage them to continue their process on learning computer coding. I like being able to oversee their work, and I liked engaging with them and collaborating with them on how to figure out these different codes. I look forward to continuing the process of computer coding. Maybe we'll see what it brings me in the future, maybe learning how to make apps or program different websites or create different games, but I really enjoyed what I learned through this project. The 20% project allowed me to explore something that I hadn't even thought about exploring before. So I'm really thankful that this class gave me the opportunity to learn about computer coding and be able to share that with my students. I think it's such a great opportunity for students to learn the mechanics behind computer coding and use it in such a user-friendly way. So I'm very thankful for what I learned in this project.